Thank you for nice speaking on Vedic knowledge system. So I now start that Ved is the oldest text of this globe, and Ved the Rig Ved is the heritage text of UNESCO, because this is supposed to be the first recorded statement of human civilization. So this is the foundational text of our almost our Indian knowledge systems, and we should feel pride that our ancestors who developed knowledge systems, and the nomenclature was given as Ved. So Ved literally means knowledge. So India is knowledge system or knowledge society not from 20th century. It is knowledge society right from the inception of our Indian culture and civilization. So Ved is important in so many aspects, and it is all known text. We Indians know this text, and also at global level, Ved is recognized. Whether you agree or disagree, Ved is non-avoidable text, because this is the foundational text of humanity, and developed by at the earliest time in our civilization. So this is knowledge, and Ved is not a religious text. I am saying time and again, Ved is not a religious text. Ved is a knowledge text. So there is a difference between knowledge text and religious text. Knowledge text can be asked questions. Knowledge text can be questioned. Religious text can't be questioned. So this is the basic difference between a religious text and a knowledge text. Second thing is that Ved is the oldest text. Still, the rishis of Ved say that we are just taking ahead the knowledge developed by so Rigved says that idam namah rishibhya purvebhya patkritbhya. So what knowledge our ancestor rishis developed, we are taking it to forward to the next generation. It means Ved is the oldest text, but this knowledge tradition is the more older. Means a very very long tradition of knowledge systems. So Indian knowledge is said to be anadi. Anadi means where we cannot fix a proper date or proper year or time. So, this is an anadi parampara, means right from the inception of civilization, we are knowledge centric. We are always knowledge centric, and one of the meaning of Bharat word is also Bha means knowledge or Prakash or Gyan, or Rat means society which is involved in knowledge. So Bharat means a society which is involved in knowledge, or it is always knowledge centric. So it is known as Bharat. So India is knowledge system from the beginning of the civilization, and Ved is the representation of that system. So this is one point. Another point is that Ved is the only text as a foundational text where male and female have contributed all together. So you hardly find any text at global level where at foundational level male and female contribute all together. So this is again the matter of pride that our ancestors developed a knowledge system which has been developed by male and female together. So there in Ved, there are male rishis and also female rishikas. So as we teach Vishwamitra and Vasisht, similarly we teach Ambrini and Lopamudra, Ghosha and others. So, so you can imagine that how developed was that society, where male and female were doing everything together, and there was no superiority inferiority complex in that time. And you will see the development of even female rishika, female personalities are at highest level. So this is our pride. And you also, you will know that not only male and female, there are rishis from other community as well. So today what we see, OBC, SC, ST category, you can find so many rishis from that category also. So at that time this term was not available, but if you see the Aksh Sukta of Rigved, the rishi is Alus rishi. Then Aitreya Brahman, this is Vedic text. So Aitreya Brahman, his name was Mahidhar, and his mother's name was Itra. So when he became rishi, and Itra was belonging to most probably from the SC category or OBC category. So when he became rishi, he developed a very big text that is known as Aitreya Brahman, and it was named on his mother, that is from Itra to Aitreya. So Aitreya Brahman, then Aitreya Upanishad, and also Javali Rishi. Javali was the son of Javala, so was also belonging to almost the same category, and his son became the Rishi. So you will find so many rishis coming from all corners of society. So this is the actually study which original text says that Ved is not an individual knowledge; it is a collective wisdom. Collective wisdom means developed by all corners of society. So this is another thing where Ved gives us message that everything should be all inclusive. Everything should be all inclusive, and you can also see the later development in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where Maitreyi and Gargi. Maitreyi is the household wife, but still she is inquiring to the ultimate state of truth. And Gargi is unmarried, but she is Rishika, and she is also exploring the purest about the pure state of consciousness. So we have a very strong foundation where both are working together, both are playing role in all aspects of society, and I think this is the lesson we should learn from our foundational things. The third point is that as Ved is a all-inclusive text, Ved has been developed by by the many different people from many aspects of society. So in Ved, this is the only text where you can find that the ultimate truth may be male, ultimate truth may be female, and ultimate truth may be at a neutral state. So, so this is again our freedom of choice, that we can accept ultimate truth as male, as in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I am the ultimate truth and I am male. I am the ultimate truth. But you can see, if you see the Durga Saptati, where Durga ji says that I am the ultimate truth. Ekai baham jagatyatra dutiya ka mama pada. I am the ultimate truth. And no other than me is existing in this universe. And also, if you go through the Atharva Sukta of Atharva Ved, Devyatharva Sheers, then Devata visit to the female principle, feminine principle, and ask, who are you? Then she replies, Aham Brahm Swarupini. Aham Brahma Swarupini Matta Prakriti Purusatmakam Jagat Sunyam Cha Sunyam Cha. I am ultimate truth, and I have developed everything. So this is our tradition where we can, and the Brahma word is a neutral gender, neuter gender. So it is our freedom whether we can choose male as the highest principle or female or even neuter state. So this is also given by the Vedic wisdom, where as per your development, as per your desire, you can choose any one of the gender. So again, this is from Ved. And the fourth point, that Ved is the text where we see the debate tradition, the dialogue tradition, because as I said earlier, that Ved is a knowledge system, Ved is a knowledge text. So if it is knowledge text, then we can interpret it freely. We can we can understand reality as per our understanding, as per our desire. So it gives us the freedom of debate, discussion, and interpretations. So from that time till date in Bharat, we have been engaged in dialogue and debate. Swami Vivekananda says that ekam sad vipra buddha badanti. This Vedic statements, this is in the blood of Indians. And we, from that time, we have been practicing it through dialogue, discussion, and the different interpretations. So no, not in other religious texts you can find so much freedom to interpret, to discussion, to discuss, to have dialogue. And this has been started from Ved. And the fifth point is that it is Ved that says that Sarve Bhavantu means Sangachadvam Sambadadvam Sambho Manangsi Jantam. We should go together, we should have food together, we should think together, and everything should be together. So so this is again the very loaded statement where we have freedom to do all these things. And the sixth principle, that Ved concludes that there is a one truth, and that manifests itself into the pluralistic universe. So one becomes many. This is Vedic principle. So if one becomes many, that there is a no difference between creator and creation. So if creator is creation and creation is creator, then there is a something which is in creation. So this is the foundation where see that there is some underlying and unifying principle which is everywhere. So our rishi says that Ishwar or Brahma or consciousness is in each and every particle of this universe, and that is the connecting factor. And that is the connecting factor. So that developed Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the whole earth is our family. And even Rigved go to the higher state where it says that yatra vishwam bhavatyek needam. The whole universe is our a nest, and where we live all together. So this is also the world view which has given us to accept others, which has given us to give regards to other. And India has done it. And you see that from many countries, people came to India, and India welcomed, and they are still living in India with the same family spirit. And another thing from this world view, as that through that we protected environment. You know, the latest thought developed by Arne Næss from Norway. And he is supposed to be a very big person, a great philosopher, scientist. So he developed a deep ecology theory. This deep ecology theory means when you understand the deeper aspect of nature, deeper aspect of reality. And he was well versed in Upanishad Gita. So he says that if you widens and deepens yourself, if you widens and deepen yourself, then you will understand that nature is nothing but your extension. And he has quoted from Taittiriya Upanishad that Atmanah tasmate tasmat atmanah akasha sambhutah akasad vayu ragne rapah advya prithvi. So everything has been developed by consciousness. So if we acquire that kind of knowledge, then we can protect nature without any effort, as we protect our inhaling and exhaling process. You know, this kind of example has been given by Arnes. So this one becomes many. This Vedic principle is also always environment friendly. And it is the western understanding as the anthropocentric reality. And it is their understanding that they always try to dominate over nature. They always thought that nature is different from human being, and nature is a non-conscious being. So with that kind of understanding, they developed that kind of model. And now we are facing all these things, that we are facing global warming and then so many other negative things. So this is also related of the worldview which you have. So Vedic rishis also contributed in this regard, that we should worship nature. We should worship all aspects of nature, so that we can also be obliged to them, natural things, and also we can protect natural things. So to protect nature and to be obliged to nature, we have been worshipping nature. So this is also from Vedic rishis. So there are so many things in Vedic text which are very essential for the development of humanity, and also for protecting everyone, also to accept everyone as the member of the family. And this Vedic wisdom, now I am coming to the second part. This Vedic wisdom has been divided into two parts. That wisdom is of worldly things, and the wisdom of consciousness. So you can divide knowledge into two parts: knowledge of worldly things and knowledge of consciousness. So knowledge of worldly thing is known as abhyuday, and knowledge of consciousness is known as nishreyas or moksha. So, knowledge of worldly things means Abhyuday includes three things: dharma, arth, and kam. Dharma means to know the nature of duty, and also to know the law of the land, the law of the nature, the law of the cosmos, the law of our body. So this is dharma, to know duty and to know the law of everything. So dharma is not religion, as we generally translate. So dharma is duty and dharma is law. So this should be known properly, because according to dharma or according to law, we we behave in our day-to-day life. And second is earth, that earth is also very essential for our sustenance. So dharma is also purusharth, and that should be earned, but earned as per law, as per the law of the nation, or as per dharma. Third is calm, to fulfill all worldly desires, and those desires should be fulfilled, but fulfilled also through law, or through the legal aspect of the nation. So these three things are under the umbrella of Abhyuday, and this shows that how much serious were of our was of our rishis who declared these three goals of life: dharma, arth, and kam. But they also thought that these things are very essential to our life, but these things are changeable as well. So if these are changeable, then at some point of time, either our body will get destroyed or these things will get destroyed. So should we be should we be in that state where sometimes we get happiness and sometimes pain? Because after getting uh, through the very hard work and we lose it, then we become painful, means we become unhappy. So what is the other way through which we should remain happy forever? So for this state, they developed another alternative, and that is the alternative as nishreyas or moksha. Moksha means to understand the true nature of consciousness. So, as per their conclusion, it is only the consciousness or the core of your personality. Uh, if you realize that in its true nature, then we can become happy forever, because happiness or the anand is the nature of the pure state of consciousness. So in this way, there are two types of goals. One is to achieve worldly things and to become happy, but happy for sometimes. And second is to realize the true nature of consciousness, that is the core of our personality. And by realizing that, we can become happy forever. So these are known the fourth goals of any individual: dharma, arth, kam, and moksha. Now, with these goals, our systems were developed. There are 18 knowledge systems. I will give you the list and explain it very briefly. So for protecting, for developing methods, and for understanding the lives, the goals of life, these 18 knowledge systems should be understood properly. But let me give you one more thing, that when the study of consciousness begins, so that has attracted the even modern scientist, uh, because one information is very much needed, that the where the study of consciousness enshrined, that part of Ved is known as Upanishad. So first part is karma part and second part is knowledge part, and that is known as Upanishad and also Vedant. So Dara Shikoh, the eldest son of Shah Jahan, he was very much interested in Upanishad, and also he was a scholar of Sanskrit. So he translated 50 Upanishads into Persian between 1642 to 1657, and after that he was killed. So the manuscript was not published, but after 115 years later, a French scholar, Anquetil Duperron, got this manuscript. Manuscript means the Persian translation of Upanishad, that is known as Sirre Akbar, you know. And when he picked up that manuscript, he translated that Persian translation into Latin and published in two volumes in 1801 and 1802. So that text is known as Upanishad. The Latin translation of Persian translation of Upanishad is known as Upanishad. And after publication in 1818, Schopenhauer, the great philosopher from Germany, he picked up it, and after studying these Latin translations, he made a very immortal statement that there is no study uh, of means there is no study in this universe which are so beneficial and elevating as that of the Upanishads. It has been the solace of my life and it will be the solace of my death. So, so he was so happy by getting this Latin translation of Upanishad that he studied it properly and spread it in the whole Europe in European terminology. So after that,
Recording stopped.
so after that, should I continue?
Please, sir, please continue.
So, so modern scientist was attracted to Upanishad because at that time so many scientific conclusions were matching with Upanishadic principle. So Irving Schrödinger in his famous book What is Life, he says in the last chapter of his book, and you all know that he was from Austria. So he says that after teaching physics, I used to study Upanishad. Upanishad introduced by Schopenhauer. And there I got, for the first time, unification theory. You know, this is the statement of Erwin Schrödinger.
Recording in progress.
Werner Heisenberg, again a great quantum physicist, he came to Shanti Niketan because at that time in 1913, Rabindranath Tagore got Nobel Prize, so he became a worldwide figure. So, and he was a great Vedantin, and also he had very good knowledge of science. So Werner Heisenberg visited Santiniketan and learnt Vedant from Rabindranath Tagore. And after returning back, he made a statement that in quantum physics, so many questions were looking means were fuzzy type of thing. But when I understood Vedant, it became relevant. All these questions became relevant, and he applied so many things to quantum physics. So this is the height of Upanishadic wisdom, where even modern scientists are very much attracted towards Upanishadic wisdom, particularly in the area of consciousness. So this is the relevance of the Upanishads. So this is the umbrella kind of wisdom, which is all inclusive and which has developed knowledge system to encompass all disciplines of understanding in life. So after giving this background, now I am giving you a list of Indian knowledge systems, particularly Vedic knowledge system, which were developed by our scholars. For Vedas means Ved was knowledge or wisdom, but Veda Vyas divided it into two parts, four parts, and those four parts are Rig Ved, Yajurved, Samved, and Atharved. So these are four knowledge systems. Rigved actually deals with Devata, and Devata so Dev means Deva Danat. This is from the Nirukt of Yask. Deva Danad means that natural principle which provides everything for us unconditionally, that is Dev. The natural principles which provide everything for us unconditionally, that is Dev. So Dev means to explain, to deal with natural principles. That is the content of Rigved. So you know we have 33 devtas, and all devtas are from natural principles. We accept Earth Prithvi as Devta because Earth gives us so many things unconditionally. We accept Jal as Devta because we require drinkable water. and through natural process we we have water. We get water from nature. So that principle is known as Jala Devata. And the third, the Agni, we are we have the heat of earth, we have the heat of environment, and that is maintained by natural principle. So that Agni is known as Devata. We have Vayu Devata because we have 21% of oxygen. If it increases, that is dangerous. If it decreases, that is also dangerous. So this 21% oxygen is maintained by similarly. So Rigved deals with all these devatas because our life is depending on these natural principles. So in this way, Ved is a knowledge system, uh, which is also related to medicinal system, environmental issues, and so many things. The second is Yajurved. Yajurved is the Ved of action. And through action, we get result. And through result, we get happiness. So this is knowledge system for action. Third is the Samved. Samved is the first foundational text of musical tradition. This is the Samved where for the first time, this is this has the rule-based music system. And from Samved, Drupad came into existence. From Drupad to Shastri Sangeet, from Shastri Sangeet to Sugam Sangeet, and Sugam Sangeet to now pop music. So Samved is the foundational text of music tradition. Fourth one is Atharved. Atharved is dealing with the Vedic knowledge. So this is the fourth knowledge system. And is related with is the Upved of Rigved, because Ayurveda is related with the plant system, the related with natural things. So this is related to Rigved. Then Dhanurved. Dhanurved is the just like the military science, because through Yajurved we acquire wealth, we develop institution, so that has to be protected. And for that we must have a very powerful system as we have today to protect institution, to protect wealth. We have a very very developed security system. So at that time it was known as Dhanurved. So it is Upved to Yajurved. The third is Gandharved, that is again related to our music. So we have so many Gandhar Mahavidyalaya still. So that is related to Samved. And fourth is the Arth Shastra or Vastu Shastra. So these are Arthashastra, as you know, is famous for statecraft, for taxation policy, for administration. So this is also important for our society. And Vastu Shastra is now very famous, and this is the text of architecture. So we have hundreds of foundational texts in this area, and now it's getting popularity. So we have we have eight knowledge systems, then six Vedangas. Six Vedangas, these are the tools for understanding Vedic wisdom. And these are six different knowledge systems. For example, there is Siksha. Siksha is just to train one to have proper pronunciation, because Sanskrit was the medium of teaching and research. And it is also a very scientific language. So our scholars thought that pronunciation also affects our personality. Now it is in the form of sound therapy in hospitals. So as per my understanding, if we speak something at 186 hertz, then that affects directly uh, on someone, and also it affects on natural environment. So our ancestors thought that there should be a separate discipline to train people to pronounce every word perfectly. So this is a proper knowledge system, and we have Pratisakya tradition. We have alphabets developed from that traditions. The second is Kalp. Kalp has four parts, and those parts are: first is Srot Sutra, then Grihi Sutra, then Dharma Sutra, and then Sulbh Sutra. So Srot Sutra is actually based on the Vedic rituals, and Vedic rituals are nothing but the symbolic expression of the universal principle. And the second is the Grihi Sutra, where there are descriptions or analysis of 16 sanskaras and so many things which we are doing in our house. So this is included in Kalpa. Third is the Dharma Sutra. Dharma Sutra is the text of Hindu law. And as I told you, dharma means law. So this is the text of Hindu law, and I will explain it later on. And the fourth is the Sulbh Sutra, which is the first foundational text of our mathematical tradition. You know, we get there the value of pi for the first time, the ratio between circumference and diameter. So that is 22 by 7, and that is the value of pi. So it was invented for the first time by uh, our Sulbh Sutrakar, and there are four Sulbh Sutras now. That is Apastambh Sulbh Sutra, Bodhayan Sulbh Sutra, Manav Sulbh Sutra, and Katyayan Sulbh Sutra. So these four Sulbh Sutras have been published by Indian National Science, at which is situated at ITO, Indian National Science Academy. So with a mathematical solution, there we get for the first time the value of root 2, and also the Pythagoras theorem. You know, before Pythagoras, this theorem was developed by Bodhayan so many hundred years before, but it is known as Pythagoras theorem. Now it is in the light of the mathematicians, so now they they discussed about this, and now at many places it is known as Bodhayan Pythagoras theorem. So Sulbi is also very important for our knowledge traditions. And then third is the Nirukt of Yask. So Nirukt is known as etymology. Etymology means our ancestors developed for the first time the dictionary where 1500 Vedic terms have been collected, and that is known as Nighantu. So it was a challenge to derive meaning from those terms. So Yask developed a knowledge system which is known as Nirukt, and he developed theory through which we can derive meaning from a given word. So this is known as Nirvachan Shastra, and this is a separate discipline. Yask is the person who concluded that each word has its root. So if we know root, then we can derive meaning in a proper way. And fourth is the Vyakaran. Vyakaran is that system of knowledge where we can develop any word through any root. So that is known as Vyutpatti Shastra. Ashtadhyayi is famous, globally recognized for this discipline, and you all know Panini, the great Panini, who belonged to Peshawar, and he was in Takshashila University, and he is supposed to be the genius in the area of developing generative grammar. So Paninian Ashtadhyayi is a generative grammar. Now we can develop any word in 21st century. We can develop any word by applying Paninian rules, and we have 2200 roots and different suffixes, and even we can create new suffixes. So this is the nature of Paninian grammar, and it has a long tradition. Even Chomsky, even so many great linguists accept Panini as the great genius. So we have this very separate discipline, and in this discipline, Katyayan, who wrote Bhartik, then Patanjali, who wrote Mahabhas, then Bhartrhari, who wrote Vakyapadi, then Nagesh Bhatt, and so many great grammarians. Still, we teach and research in this area. And the fifth one is the Chandasastra. Chandasastra, you all know that Ved is also known as Shruti. So Shruti means it was transmitted from generation to generation, and transmitted with oral tradition, orally. So our ancestors thought that we should develop chand, meter, so that any person can get by heart, and our shastras, our discipline should be in mind that if any natural calamities or any external invasion occurs, then if this discipline is in the mind of people, then it can be revived. So for that purpose, this meter was developed, and the Chand Shastra became the separate knowledge system. So you can see that even our Aribhatiyam, the text of mathematics, is in poetry form. Our Susrut Samhita, Charak Samhita, many texts of our philosophical systems. So almost even even the Bhartrhari, even the Vakyapadi of Bhartrhari, which is the text of grammar, but that has been presented through poetic mode, in poetry style. So this is our a separate knowledge tradition. Now so many mathematicians is finding so many mathematical principles from this Chand Shastra, because whole Chand Shastra is based on mathematical calculation. Now the sixth Vedangaj is known as Jyotish, and you know Jyoti means star, Jyoti means Tara. So so where we calculate the motion of a star of planetary system, so that aspect of knowledge is known as Jyotish. So it is actually the system of astronomy, and Lagad Jyotish is the foundational text of this area. And from that time, we have a long tradition of Jyotish. It is it is primarily it is a system of astronomy, but later on it was also developed as Falit Jyotish. So this is separate system. Now we have four more system which are very foundational, and which are of great importance. So first is no Dharma Shastra. Dharma Shastra is a separate discipline, and as I told, Dharma means duty based on law. So dharma is not religion. Again and again, I am saying dharma is completely different from religion. Religion is based on commandment. Dharma is not a commandment. Dharma is the law of the state. Dharma is the law of the nature. Dharma is the law of the cosmos. Dharma is the law of our body. So in this way, dharma has been coined, and in Rigved, Rit word has been used for the first time. Rit means the law of cosmic order, and then Dharma. So Dharma is the law of cosmic order, Dharma is the law of nature, and Dharma is the law of the state, and also the law of individual. And duty based on this law is also known as Dharma. So Dharma Shastra has three parts. One is one is the the Achara Adhyay. Achara Adhyay means where our text teaches us what to do, what is your duty, duty from head of the state to the duty of individual. So that is Achara Adhyay. So you will see that now our Prime Minister has established the Sangal in Lok Sabha. What is the importance of this Sangal? So this is our traditional way of running institutions, running our state, and there is a difference between the sovereignty principle of European understanding and the dharma centric state of Bharat. So when King Raja was means he was taking oath. So taking oath by Sabhasad. Sabhasad means who were expert in dharma, means expert in law. So when there was ceremony of coronation, then that dand was matlab the Sabhasad used to touch dharmadand to the head of the king by saying that twamapi dandyosi. You are also under the law. You are also under the dharma. So if you commit something wrong, you will also be punished. So from that time, India is always under law. So today now we have democracy, but still the head of the state is under law. The prime minister is under law. Even the chief justice of Supreme Court is under law. So everything is under law. So dharma is very important in our tradition. At Supreme Court, you can see yato dharmastato jayah. Where law prevails, you can get victory. So dharma is important, and also very important term dharmo rakshati rakshitah. So if you protect law, then law will protect you. So law is important, and dharma as law, generally we misunderstand it and we compare it to the other religious systems, but this is completely wrong. So Bharat is always dharma centric. Swami Vivekananda says that USA, America understand society through reforms. Britishers, British people understand society by politics, but Bharat understand everything by dharma. So Bharat is always dharma centric. Dharma means law. So we are always law centric. th- so if you go through Mahabharat, and we have seen the serial of Mahabharat, where there is a very famous slok, Dharma Sansthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So Dharma Sansthapanarthaya means what? Dharma Sansthapanarthaya means when Draupadi was humiliated in Rajya Sabha, so that was the height of lawlessness. So if the first lady of the state can be humiliated, then what was the situation of the common woman? So Krishna says to Arjuna that you have to establish the law of the land, because this is your duty. So only to establish dharma means to establish law. The whole war was fought. So that war was dharma yuddha. There is a difference between dharma yuddha and the concept of war in Western tradition. Dharma yuddha means when lawless state of lawlessness occurs in the society, then we have to establish law. And to establish law, if we have fight, then it's most welcome. But to establish law is the main goal of our means Kshatri at that time. So Krishna says to Arjuna that you must fight to establish law. So this dharma, this has been explained in the first chapter. The second chapter is the Vyavharadhyay. Vyavharadhyay is a very technical term. V means different issues of life. Ab means doubts regarding those issues. and har means to means eradicate or eliminate those doubts. So be nanarthiv sandehe haranam har uchyate, or nana sandehe haranath vyavhar iti kathyate. So, for example, if you have property and someone claims that this is my property, then there will be a state of doubt. So, to eradicate that doubt, we have to move to court, and the nyayadhish or judge will finally will give decision that to whom person this property belongs. So, so this is a judicial process. This is known as jurisprudence. So this is Nyayik Prakriya, and Vyavhar Shastra is the jurisprudence of India. So there you will find that how we appoint judges, what were the rules to have investigation of any criminal procedure. So there Manu Smriti Manu has given a list of 18 Vivad Vishay. 18 Vivad Vishay means there are 18 issues in our society, in our day-to-day life, which are under two umbrellas. The 14 issues are under the civil case, and the 4 are in criminal category. So in criminal categories there are Vak Parush, Dand Parush, Sahas, and Stri Sangrahan. So just I am explaining it briefly that Vak Parush, now it is known as defamation case. So if you humiliate someone, then criminal procedure can be initiated against you. The second is Dand Parush. If you are hurting someone, then criminal case can be initiated against you. Third is Sahas, or which is if you murder someone, if you have dacoity kind of thing, then criminal procedure can be initiated against you. And fourth is the Istri Sangrahan. If you humiliate woman in any form, so that is under criminal case, and this is the most important case in all four criminal cases. It was in our Sanghita, Manu and Yagyavalk Sanghita and Narad Sanghita, that this case should be treated on priority basis. So not we have now fast track court. In that period there was provision of fast track court, means Stri Sangrahan should be given the most importance, because this is the most essential part of humanity. So these are the four cases or issues under criminal cases. So this kind of thing you can get in Manu Sanghita, Yagyavalk Sanghita, and then many other smritis we have. One thing is important, that in Ved there is a contribution of male and female all together, but we sometimes find there is a negative things in Smritis. Generally, it was added later on, or it is in original text. This is a matter of discussion because it will take half an hour. But now I am giving one important thing, that Ved is the collective wisdom and Smriti is individual wisdom. Smriti has been developed by individual people. For example, Manu Smriti by Manu, Yagyavalk Smriti by Yagyavalk, Narad Smriti by Narad. So our scholars thought that that individual knowledge or wisdom may be biased sometime. So Smriti means to interpret Shruti or Ved. So there is a rule: any Smriti which is against Vedic wisdom, that should be accepted as invalid. Shruti Smriti Virodhetu Shruti Rev Gariyasi. And Jaimini, the great scholar of Ved, says that Virodhe Tvanpeksham Syat Asati Hanumanakam. Any Smriti, if it goes against Ved, that should be accepted as invalid knowledge. So you can now think that Ved was developed by female Rishika. Any Smriti, if says that woman cannot study Ved, it means it is going against Vedic wisdom. So instantaneously it is invalid. So in this way, if we study our tradition, then I think it will be more beneficial. So this is the this is in the context of the Vyavhara Adhyay of Dharma Shastra, and third is the Achara Adhyay, third is the Prayaschitta Adhyay, where at village level when we do something wrong, so those things were sorted out by villagers. So we had less number of case for court. Now we have more than 4 crore cases in India, and we are not giving judgment on proper way and at proper time. So this is also a big issue for us. And the next system is our Mimamsa. Mimamsa is known as Vakya Shastra. As you say now, hermeneutics. So Mimamsa is that separate discipline which deals with the analysis of any statement, analysis of any text. So through that principle, we derive meaning from a given sentence or given text. So this is very important, and many judges, they use Mimamsa principle. Generally in law, they teach or they do research on Maxwell principle of interpretation. But in India, it is Mimamsa principle of interpretation, which are completely related to our legal system. So Mimamsa is very important discipline. Mimamsa has two parts. One, the Purva Mimamsa is related to those statement of Ved or those statement of legal things which are related to our worldly things, worldly issues, our day-to-day issues. And the second aspect of Mimamsa, that is Uttar Mimamsa, is known as Vedant, and Vedant is related to the understanding of consciousness. So in this way, Mimamsa interprets statement, interpret text, and they also developed theory of interpretation, that is Abhitanvayavad, Anvita Vidhanvad. The third is Nyaya tradition, logic tradition. We know our tradition is based on logical understanding, and we have a very Shastrarth tradition. So in Nyaya Sutra, you will get Vad, Jalp, and Vitanda, the Nigraha Sthan. Vad means to know truth through some some person of wisdom, and that is Vad. Jalp means to have proper dialogue to defeat others, and Vitanda is to find out the loopholes from opponent, and Nigraha Sthan are the rules through which debate was initiated, was started. So there are 22 rules. So these things have been framed through which our dialogue tradition was started, and still we have dialogue tradition. And the last one is one more thing, that Kautilya says this is Anvikshiki. So Anvikshiki means Nyaya tradition, Tark tradition. And he says that Pradipa Sarva Vidyanam, I am quoting it from Kautilya's Arthashastra, Pradipa Sarva Vidyanam Upaya Sarva Karmanam. So Tark or logic is the lamp for all disciplines of learning. Upaya Sarva Karmanam. This is the foundation through which we do our behavior in day-to-day life, and ashraya sarva dharmanam. And logic is also foundation for our judicial process. So saswadan vikshiki mata. So if society remains, if our civilization remains, tark will also remain. So this is very important thing for our knowledge system. And the last one is Puran Vidya is a Vidya our scholars developed, that through class teaching, we cannot teach every one of our society, because many people are involved in other activities. Some are business persons, some are doing other things, means skilled based work, and some are interested in administration. So they how can they understand everything? They don't have time to come to teacher to go through text. So there should be a method, a popular method, through which one can even convey serious knowledge to society. So this is a popular method through which our scholars successfully conveyed knowledge to mass. And we know that in our village, people are very much aware of our Shastric tradition. They can discuss so many things. So it is through Puran tradition. So we know we have Katha Parampara, we have different stories, and through stories we teach the same thing as we discuss it in classroom. So this is Puran Vidya. Puran has also very other disciplines, such as Puran is a text of the geography. So you can find so many things which are very essential parts of our geography. And Puran has also mandate to to deal with the Srishti Prakriya, the Lay Prakriya, the mathematical calculation of the Srishti, and the contribution of the great people in our society. So Purans deal all these things, and Purans are supposed to be the encyclopedia of Indian wisdom. We have 18 Puran, 18 Upapuran, then Sthal Puran, then a very big literature. So these are 18 Vidyas, 4 Ved, 4 Upaved, 6 Vedangas, and 4 other disciplines, Dharma Shastra, Mimamsa, Nyay, and Puran. Besides that, we have a very long Natya tradition, Natya Shastra ki parampara, you know, Bharat Muni. Then we have a long tradition of poetry and poetics. As you introduced me, I worked on the Asian poetics, and Asian poetics through Rabindranath Tagore and Han Yong-jung of South Korea. So we found that there is no such tradition in other countries as we have in poetics and poetry. And our Rabindranath Tagore is the representative poet, scholar, philosopher, everything of that tradition. So all these things, and last 1 minute, I will take just 1 minute, that recently government of India has organized international conference on manuscriptology. You know, we have more than 1 crore manuscript still unedited. So 4 day back, government of Ministry of Culture organized a conference, very successful conference, and now Prime Minister has allocated 400 crores to develop or to edit all these manuscript, and to develop a list of everything so that our scholars can initiate researches. So these are the things which are under IKS, and these are the things which our scholars from college and university, almost we have 14 lakh college and university teachers. So if they can understand IKS, they can understand their own tradition. So wherever possible, they can correlate it to the existing Western system, and they can also take it to their class teaching, and also initiate some new researches so that we can produce new knowledge and take it to society. And by using it, we can achieve great things. We can become from happy to happier and to the happiest state. So this is our goal. So I briefly put forward some issues regarding IKS and regarding Vedic knowledge system. Thank you so much, Dhritimanji, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. If someone has any query, I am before you.
Thank you, Professor Ramnath Jha. I think I am audible and visible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are busy.
Okay. So, yes, Thank you, Professor Ramnancha, for this very, very intensive understanding of the Vedic knowledge system. And I think what is the most important factor of the whole talk is that first to understand Veda as a kind of a knowledge text, but not as a religious text. And I think this is something very important to remember. We do not remember that it is knowledge text. It is not at all a kind of a religious text of Hinduism. Hinduism is much lesser thing compared to the whole understanding of the Vedic knowledge system, which is very systematically represented throughout this talk, and how the Veda was developed both by the male and the female Rishikas. I think this is also very important to remember, because we always remember the Vedic Rishis but not the Rishikas. So this is again and very important.
One line, please. There is a list of 27 Rishikas, you know, and
Okay,
this
yes,
is in
yes.
Brihat Samhita. So I think our teachers should start teaching the suktas of Rishikas, Vedic Rishikas.
Yes, I think it requires a completely a differentiation on this understanding and the contribution, the foundational contribution of these Rishikas in developing both the Vedic knowledge system as well as the later text on Sriti and Samhitas. So, and the whole talk moves towards the various aspects of the Vedic knowledge system, and the another important part which we actually forget now in developing or in understanding the Indian law system, that it is all it is all about the ideas of debates and dialogues and interpretation, and how these are quite foundational. I think we can also remember the phrase by Amartya Sen, that is the argumentative Indian. This is the tradition of us, that we need to be very much argumentative and we do need not to follow anything very much blindly. So, and then he moves to the Upanishadic tradition and the knowledge of the worldly thing and the knowledge of the consciousness, where he talks about the four Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kam, and Moksha, and also how the Persian translation by Dada Shikoh ultimately developed to the Western ideas of the Vedas, how it goes through various Western scholars and scientists, and how they are actually using or creating their best on this Indian knowledge system, but we forgot about our tradition. So, and then going to the idea of the Veda Bash, and how the Rig, Sham, Joju, Athorva, the four foundational Vedic texts, they actually develop the various aspects of it, how the Arthashastra, Vastu and also the idea of the Drupad, how they come from the Veda, how our Shastriya Sangeet is located within this Vedic text, how the Ayurveda is very much connected with this Vedic text, and the six Vedangas, Shiksha, Kalpa, Nirukta, Dharma, and the ideas of Shulpa Sutras, how the mathematical tradition, the scientific traditions is connected with it, and and also the Bodha and Pythagoras theorem, which is also very much important in understanding the mathematical ideas, and then also to the Vyakaran and the Chanda Shastra and the Jyotisha, and how the Dharma Shastra. I think the most important of the whole discussion is the idea of Dharma, and how it is very much different from religion, its popular understanding today, and how it is actually more about duties and laws, and how this is very much connected with the Acharadhya, with the Nyaya tradition, with the Dharmadanda, and with the notion of the Vyavaradhya, and how the Sriti is different from the Veda, and how the Sriti is becoming somehow synonymous with the understanding of Vedic texts. But this is not true. We need to understand that Sriti is something which actually Professor Jha mentioned and discussed, that it is much more a kind of an individual wisdom, and which includes various negative interpretation, and as we think about the women's condition, which is very much guided by Manusmriti in India today, but it is not something which is actually based on our Vedic knowledge system, because Vedic knowledge system gives much more priority to the women's knowledge and the women's knowledge tradition, and the idea of Mimamsha and Vada. So the Vimamsha and the Nyaya tradition, which are also very much significant in understanding the various knowledge systems in India, and how the popular understanding of the Veda through the Puran. We need to understand that this is a popular understanding. This is not something based on the knowledge system. So the whole intensive Vedic knowledge system is, though this is within this one lecture, it is not at all enough, or it is not at all sufficient to understand the whole thing. But still, I think it is a very, very intensive introduction to the Vedic knowledge system. So thank you again, Professor Ramnath Shah. Now I move to the Q&A session. If any of you has any kind of question towards Professor Ramnath Shah, you can actually unmute yourself and ask your question. You can also write it in the chat box. So uh, in the chat box at present, I do not see any question. But yes, all the participants of us, they are actually praising this informative and intensive session. So if you have any question, you can ask. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. So just to keep.
I can take 2 minutes.
Yes, yes, sir. You can.
So just I want to clarify that Manusmriti, there is a rule between Shruti and Smriti, you know. So if any Smriti goes against Shruti or Ved, that will be accepted to invalid. But there is a lot of contribution of Manusmriti. Now I am clarifying this because Manusmriti is the first text which 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 made or which established the rule for the economic freedom of women. You know, this is the first text which put stri dhan in legal terms. You know, so Manusmriti says that adhyagnyadhyavahanikam dattam cha priti karmani भ्रातृ पितृ मातृदात praptam sadvidham stri dhanam smritam. So if a woman get property from at marriage time and at any occasion and through brother, through mother, through father and through her own earning, that will be accepted as her specific property. Nobody can touch it. So when at the global level, women were supposed to be the matter of just use and throw. Manusmriti, the first text which always give regards to women. And one more thing that Ved says that the theory of men and women in Vedic tradition is that one singular principle manifested itself into two parts. You know, half part is male, half part is female, just against the western or Semitic tradition where woman is the product of the left ribs of man. So there woman is the product of the man, but in Indian tradition, in Vedic tradition, men and women are the similar manifestation of singular truth. Manusmriti retains the same thing in the first chapter of Manusmriti कि द्विधा कृत्वात्मनो देहम अर्धेन पुरुषो भवत अर्धेन नारी तस्याम वा विराजम असृजत प्रभु. Manu says that one became two, half part man and half part woman. But from woman, the whole tradition came into existence. You know, in Indian tradition, man is the product of woman. Swami Vivekananda says, if any form is generated, that is generated through woman, through Shakti, you know. So, in Indian tradition, woman is Adi Shakti. But in Western tradition, woman is the product of man. So, one of the meaning of woman is slave, you know. Woman is the subordinate to man. And so this is the tradition of the West that woman has to keep husband's surname. We have imitated it. In Indian tradition, it is not our tradition to put husband's surname because both are the parallel tradition, parallel existence. So when we understand English much, then we sometimes imitate, you know. So we are no English society. So we have imitated that. We have also to put husband surname with our name. And this also became a controversial thing. So I think this should be understood properly. Manu has always given regard, but one or two slok is there where woman can't study Ved, and sometimes woman is under the control of sometimes father, sometimes brother, and some son, or sometimes uh, husband. Now, Istri Swatantra Madhati. This has been also explained by a Supreme Court judge that this is not under control, this is the matter of privilege. So still in court, if we send some notice to woman has privilege to send her son, her husband, or her father, if she is not in the position to come to court. So this is her privilege. Still it is being processed in court. So I think, and a woman can't study, I have clarified it. Maybe it may be interpolated, or if it is original statement, still it is invalid because Shruti Smriti Virodhetu Shrutireva Gariyasi. If any statement of Smriti goes against the collective wisdom as Ved, it will be invalid. So this was my submission.
Yes, I think this is very important to know, because we always remember these negative comments, as you have already mentioned in the lecture. But we actually choose to forget something which gives the power to women, or which gives the essential moments to the women. So, sir, we have two questions in the chat box.
Yes.
First one is from Obro Das. So he is saying that thank you, sir, for such an enriching lecture. Your lecture is purely concentrated on Vedic tradition, but if you please put some light on Tantra and its similarities and dissimilarities with Veda, it will be helpful for us.
Oh,
And
so
and the next one is
we
from,
have generally two tradition of Tantra.
yes,
One is the Kashmir tradition, which is Kaulachar, and second is the Vedic Tantra tradition, that is Samayachar. So through Kaulachar, or sometimes it is also known as Bhamachar. So generally they use Panch Makar as the day-to-day practice. But in Samayachar tradition, which was forwarded, or you can say that propagated by Adi Shankaracharya, so that he doesn't accept Panch Makar as the matter of upasana. So they generally focus on Sahasrar only. So these are two important tradition. Acharya Shankar, Adi Shankaracharya always try to use Samayachar Parampara, where there is no scope of Panchmakar. So this is also known as Sri Vidya. So this is the very small introduction, and there are two parts. One part is the study of consciousness, that is the ultimate Brahma. But second part is when creation starts. That creation is started by Shakti. So to worship Shakti as the Adi Karan of this Srishti. So there we worship Durga Ji as the Adi Shakti, and Shakti manifests itself into this pluralistic reality. So through these realities, when we try to understand or realize Shakti, Adi Shakti, and through Adi Shakti consciousness, then that is the path of Tantra. So you can study Saundarya Lahiri, and you can also study Subhodaya Stuti of Gaudapadacharya, Saundarya Lahiri of Shankaracharya, and there are Subhagam Panchakam in Vedic tradition, and there is a whole Tantra Shastra in Kashmir tradition. So these are two tradition important, and if you are interested, I think if you go through Saundarya Lahiri, you can understand the proper structure of our Tantra. But that is totally based on Adi Shakti.
Okay, thank you, sir. And the next one is by Shubhadeep Mukherjee. Respected sir, I humbly seek your guidance in recommending some significant books for our studies, particularly those pertaining to the Vedic knowledge system.
Can you repeat it?
Actually, sir, he asked for some pertinent studies or some books for studying Vedic knowledge system.
Okay, okay, okay. So, Vedic knowledge system, we have developed recently a book, Bharati Vidyasar. A book named Bharati Vidyasar, published by uh, Bharati Vidya Bhavan. You know, Bharati Vidya Bhavan, and it was funded by AICTE for the engineering graduate. So you can see this book. This is very important, and you can also study modern physics and Vedanta. You can study Maya in physics. You can study holistic science and Vedanta. No. So these you can also study Tao of physics.
Hmm.
You can study wave of life. So these books will give you a true introduction to our Indian knowledge, Vedic knowledge tradition, particularly. But Bharati Vidyasar almost include all aspects of Vedic knowledge system.
Hmm.
This is by Bharati Vidya Bhavan.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Dr. Papia Odhikari, please mute yourself. So, is anyone have any more question for the chat? Yes,
Yes,
Ankura
I have
Saha,
a
do you have any
question.
question?
Yes, yes. This is a wonderful session. Thank you so much, sir. And I have a question regarding the feminine principle. If you kindly explain it.
Feminine principle.
Yes, yes, sir.
You know, Bharat is never patriarchal system. It is always Bhatri Sattatmak, because there is a clear cut Vedic position that whole creation is through Shakti only. So Shakti has a status of mother. So mother has been the supreme power in Bharat. Swami Vivekananda says that even a sannyasi, when does last ritual, then a mother touches water through her foot, and then that water is sunk by that sannyasi. So Swami Vivekananda says that in Bharat, a sannyasi is ready to have that water 1,000 times. You know, in Manu Smriti, is a father is 10 times big to Guru, and mother is 1,000 times big to father. You know, and I also say something about Adi Shankaracharya, that when he went to his mother at last time, he started doing so many service kind of thing to mother. His mother says that no, you are a sannyasi, and you don't have any relationship now with me. But Adi Shankaracharya says that before mother, nothing, no one is bigger than a mother. So there is a famous Matri Panchakam. I think you should all go through this Matri Panchakam, and it is available on. You can get it through website. I just say one slok. He composed Matri Panchakam, and he's explaining what mother is. So he says, Astam tab diyam prasuti samaye durbar sulabhyatha नैरुच्यम तनु शोषणम मलमयी शय्या च सांवत्सरी एकस्यापि न गर्भ भार भरण क्लेशस्य यस्य क्षम दातुम निष्कृति मुन्नतोपि तनयः तस्मै जनन्यै नमः। ही सेज, मैं हिंदी में बता रहा हूं कि उस माँ को कोटिशः प्रणाम है, जिस माँ ने जब जब उसके गर्भ में मैं आया तो उसका सब कुछ बदल गया। इतना कष्ट वो सहती हैं, सहा है आपने, कि उस कष्ट को दूसरा कोई नहीं सह सकता जो उस स्थिति में ना हो। और 9 महीने तक गर्भ में धारण रख के जब आपने रखा तो आपकी रुचि बदल गई, आपके शरीर का स्वरूप बदल गया। और जब जन्म हुआ मेरा तो महीनों वर्षों तक आप मेरे साथ मलमूत्र में लेटी रही। ऐसा व्यक्ति, ऐसा बच्चा जब बड़ा होता है तो कहते हैं कि कोई भी उस कष्ट को नहीं समझ सकता। जो माँ का एक बच्चे का जन्म देना है वह कोई दूसरा नहीं समझ सकता। तो वह पुत्र कितना भी बड़ा हो जाए वो किसी जन्म में भी माँ के ऋण को नहीं चुका सकता। इसीलिए मैं भले ही सन्यासी क्यों न रहूं, मेरा धर्म है माँ की सेवा, और मैं आपकी सेवा करूंगा। तो भारत में स्त्री ही सर्वोच्च है, स्त्री से ही सृष्टि होती है। इसीलिए स्त्री, प्रकृति, ये सब एक कैटेगरी में है और उनको माता का दर्जा दिया जाता है। पृथ्वी को हम ही माता बोलते हैं। तो भारत में सब कुछ शुरू से मातृसत्तात्मक है। मनु ने, वेद ने कहा है कि भले ही पुरुष स्त्री समान हो, लेकिन सृष्टि सारी माता से होती है। इसीलिए माता ही सबसे बड़ा पूजनीय है। और इसीलिए हम दुर्गा पूजा करते हैं और दुर्गा माता को आदि शक्ति मानते हैं, क्योंकि उन्हीं से सृष्टि होती है। दुर्गा जी, मैंने बताया कि दुर्गा सप्तशती में कहती हैं, एक ही बाहम जगत त्यत्रो द्वितीया का ममा पड़ा। मैं ही अकेली हूं, मेरे सिवा दूसरा कोई नहीं है संसार में। यही भाव है। जब हम इस विषय को पढ़ते नहीं हैं, पढ़ाते नहीं हैं, और ब्रिटिशर्स ने जो थियरी क्वाइन की है, क्योंकि उनका शुरू से पितृसत्तात्मक रहा है, इसीलिए वो सारी चीज भारत पे थोप दिया है। और हम चूंकि वेस्टर्न एजुकेशन लेते हैं, अपने टेक्स्ट को नहीं पढ़ते, इसलिए हम भी उन्हीं की भाषा में बोलने लगते हैं कि भारत भी पितृसत्तात्मक है। भारत शुरू से मातृसत्तात्मक है, आज भी है। आज में भी जल जो भी बाहरी दृष्टि दिखे, सबसे ज्यादा विश्वास पत्नी पे ही होता है, सबसे ज्यादा विश्वास शक्ति पे ही होता है, और उसी से सब क्रियाकलाप चलता है। तो इस रूप में समझें, और हम इसको खुद भी समझें और अपने स्टूडेंट को भी समझाएं, जिससे कि हमारी जो अज्ञानता है वो दूर हो और अपने मूल स्वरूप को समझें। ये मेरा कहना।
Thank you, sir. Sir, this feminine principle is similar to Vandana Shiva's introduced in Staying Alive, the feminine principle in the last chapter. Is it similar?
No, I have not gone through Bandhana Shiva, so I am just giving you the information from original source, you know. So
Okay, okay.
I just believe in original source. If her book is matching with this theory, then it's okay. Otherwise, you go through original text. There you will
Okay,
get
sir.
everything.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Professor Jha. The host is requested to make me able to start the video. I can't start my video because it is disabled from the host. So in the meantime, uh, there is one more question, Professor Jha, from Neelam Sampang. She is asking that modern state, including democracy, revolves around the power and influence for which different types of apparatus being rationalized. It is noticed for last 60 to 70 years. So those institutions are no more people's institutions. So is there any way in the Vedic system that states good governance?
Actually, I didn't understand your question. Voice is not so much clear.
Actually, she is asking for the understanding if there is anything in the Vedic knowledge system which talks about the good governance. I think you have already discussed in your talk.
Oh,
But
yeah. There is a discussion of good governance, and And now we are developing those things because Vedic culture or Vedic civilization is all inclusive civilization, and it always talks governance on the basis of dharma, and later on it was represented by Kautilya through Arthashastra, and even in Manu Smriti and other Smritis you can get the content of governance, good governance, and also in Mahabharata and Ramayan. So now it is being developed. I think in very short time we will be able to give you the book, published book